Hello YouTube, welcome to another GNBU review. The good, the bad, and the ugly of Resistance Burning Skies for ZPS Vita. Let's go. Let's get started with the good. The first good thing about Resistance Burning Skies for the PS Vita is that it's the first real shooter for the Vita. 100% first person shooter with an online multiplayer. So the next good thing about Resistance Burning Skies for the PS Vita is the online multiplayer. The online multiplayer is pretty good for being its first online game for the PS Vita. The first person shooter online multiplayer game ever for the PS Vita. And that's only when you're able to get inside a game. Campaign cutscenes in Resistance Burning Skies for the PS Vita is another good thing about the game. It has this comic book look and feel to it. But the only thing that's bad about it is that you cannot skip past the cutscene if you already watched it. The next good thing about the game is the campaign weapons. There are plenty of campaign weapons to choose from. And also the upgrade system is pretty cool and unique. With different attachments and different upgrades for each weapon, it gives you a reason to try and find all upgrade cubes throughout the game. Next, campaign enemies. If you go into this game thinking that it's going to be dumbed down with only 2 enemy types, then you are dead wrong. The next surprising good thing about Resistance Burning Skies for the PS Vita is the story. The story is actually good. You never get lost in the story on what's going on, and it makes you feel like you're playing a real full-fledged Resistance game. Just like any other Resistance game, you have intel. Intel gives you the lowdown on intel you picked up throughout playing the campaign, and also on the weapons and monsters and everything else. Throughout the Resistance Burning Sky campaign, you're able to save civilians from burning vehicles, from stranded rooms, and they reward you with an upgrade to your weapon. The campaign also have a couple of in-game surprises as far as story and gameplay. Let's move it over to the neutral. The first neutral thing about the game is that the game starts a little bit too slow. The first 2 chapters, Staten Island, Military Ocean, it kind of start a little bit slow. It makes you feel like the game is going to be dumbed down a little bit, given that it's a handheld game. But once you make your way to chapter George Washington Bridge, Ellis Island, that's when the game really start introducing some new and familiar enemy types. Not really new, but familiar. And start surprising you with gameplay elements and story elements throughout the game. The next neutral thing about Resistance Burning Skies for the PS Vita is that the game is a little bit short, without being too short though. Depending on the person that's playing the game. It took me around 5.5 to 6 hours to complete the game. The game also offers a new game plus, so you can keep all your weapons and upgrades and probably put the game on a higher difficulty, which is very worth it in my opinion. The next neutral thing about Resistance Burning Skies for the PS Vita is the graphics. The graphics isn't fantastic, but they're not bad either. The next and last neutral thing about Resistance Burning Skies for the PS Vita is the sound effects. The sound effects isn't all that bad, but the game could have done better. But I would say the music inside this game is top notch. But the sound effects is so-so, but at the same time I done heard worse sound effects inside console experience games. We're going to skip past the bad and move it over to the ugly. There are 2 ugly things about the Resistance Burning Skies for the PS Vita that just stood out and just had to be said. The first thing is that at launch, the multiplayer did not work for thousands of people that own Resistance Burning Skies. It worked for a handful of people, but did not work for numerous of people, including myself. After a week, they put out a patch. The patch worked. We got online. We had fun. But days after the patch, it started lagging people out the game again. Wouldn't let them start up a game. And it even do it sometimes even now, even though I started back working recently. But sometimes you'll get into a game, it'll get ready to load, and it won't go. But as you can see, it loaded up perfectly fine, and I'm inside the game. Another ugly thing about Resistance Burning Skies for the PS Vita as far as multiplayer is that once someone leaves out the game, it doesn't lag or anything, but it keeps them in the game just standing there. And if you shoot at that person, they never die. They just stand there. You get a hit marker, but nothing happens. So it kind of confuses you sometimes and throws you off, especially when you got the team moving around that person shooting at you and you're shooting at the wrong person that's not alive anymore, it's just standing there. So that concludes my GNBU review of Resistance Burning Skies for the PS Vita. This game is worth a buy. I say pick it up for 30 bucks once it goes on sale for 30 bucks. It should be 30 bucks now, brand new, easily. And yeah. I'm out. Peace.